Okay. Good morning, everybody. And by good morning, I mean good afternoon. That's just usually what I like to say. I usually like to say good morning, everybody. Or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that's what I like to say. Even though it's afternoon, it's just an opening. Give me one time back. There I am. What's up, guys? How you doing? Waiting for my buddy, Black Tony Stark. He's late. Why is he late? I don't know why he's late. Of course, we said we were going to start at 5:30, and it takes a while to set up, so it could be one of those. It's like, oh crap, having issues. Hold on, I'll be on as soon as I can. That happens. Okay, so I can get rid of this thing now. And, well, while we're waiting for him, I'm going to bring up my TikTok because I have had... Oh, hello. I did have a video that was me asking anyone who had any questions for atheists. I think it was this one. Yep, it was this one. I mean, there was a lot of arguing in here, but it was a good start. Let me see here. Not Christian, but a believer of some higher power, I have a multitude of questions. But to start, why are you an atheist? I'm going to have to remember to clip this, Dustin, and I'm clipping this at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So I can reply to this guy with a TikTok. Why am I an atheist? That's actually a good question. Like I said, while I'm waiting for Black Tony Stark to get here, I can answer some of these things. There is multiple reasons I'm an atheist. Besides the fact that there is no evidence that a God even exists, if a God does exist, he has zero reason to be worshipped. Okay? All this love and, praise and, all this stuff that people say, God is love, God is forgiving, God is none of those things. I still got a sniffle and I still got a cough, so I apologize if I'm like... So yeah, God is none of those things. Multiple times in the Bible does he talk about murdering random people who didn't deserve it, and sometimes entire planets who didn't deserve it. And by entire planets, I mean ours, because, I screwed up. I'm just gonna... I need to redo it. I need to redo this whole thing. I'm perfect, but I screwed up. I need to do it over. Yeah. Why is this camera so far? Maybe if I move my mic over here, I'll be more apt to just be on this side. Closer to the middle of the screen. Every time I go to move my camera, it doesn't work the way I like. All right, so yeah, that's one main reason I'm an atheist, but it is a big one, that there is no evidence for there to be a God, okay? And I've actually had multiple people tell me, hey, you don't even believe in a higher power. Your opinion doesn't matter. I feel like my opinion should matter more than most if I don't believe in a higher power. I don't know the answer with the capital A by looking at the same goddamn book that's been existing. I think it's existed for 2,000 years. People say it's 2,000 years. Is it really 2,000 years? That I don't know. But there's a lot more books than just that one. And a lot of books that have the answer that doesn't. I feel like my opinion would matter a lot more. That's just me, though. Why am I an atheist? Why are you only asking Christians? That's a good question. That's a very good question. And I did respond to him with a text. I said, I suppose I could have said any religion. I'm just mostly well versed in the Christian religion, but it is open to everyone. He since did not answer me. Not a Christian. Meow Meow says this. I love the screen name. Meow Meow. Not a Christian. But to you, what is the most convincing argument you've heard for Christianity? I do like this one. And honestly, the only thing I can come up with is the thing I've been saying my whole life, right? Our first person point of view, even though me and Black Tony Stark has already covered this, the first person point of view, right? There was a science seminar of some sorts talking about that, saying the reason we have that, it's an evolutionary trait. We have that because if you worry about oneself and you don't want yourself to get hurt because you yourself feel the pain, it's preservation. You live longer by self-preserving, right? You've got so many animals that have the herd effect. If one, I think it's a sheep, right? If one sheep jumps off the ledge, the one that's in charge, the rest of them will follow, and they're all gone. Yeah, we don't have that. No, we have the first person perspective. We have self-preservation. If we see someone reasons for jumping off that cliff. Let me see if Black Tony Stark's on yet, by the way. He's working on it. Okay, good. But yeah, the first person perspective, I mean, I do. Hey, Dom Rocks Music, what's goody? I'm goody. How's you? How you doing, brother? I'm just, while I'm waiting for Black Tony Stark. Oop. Okay, he's fired up. I was just going through questions that people have asked me on TikTok. Oh yeah, but the first person perspective. I tell people that you don't remember anything before you're born, so I feel like the same thing is going to happen when you die. At least that's what the evidence points at, and nobody denies this, right? But I feel like I just cannot accept it totally, right? It's like all this just ends. Like, I don't know what happens afterwards. When I die, that's it. I don't know nothing. I'm not even sentient anymore. Okay, let's see if we can get Black Tony Stark on. I do have more questions, but I'm going to see if I can get him on quick. Hold on, give me a minute. Is he live? He's fired up. He's not live yet. I mean, he is, but he isn't. I'm going to go ahead and knock and see if he comes in. Knock, knock, Black Tony Stark. Why'd I say it like that? Nothing yet. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for him to officially come on, he does have the the intro, just like waiting for things to, he get things set up while the 10 minutes go by. You're doing good? Thanks, mate. What we up to tonight? Well, Black Tony Stark told me that he's got a number of questions for me, and I am going to humor him on that. Okay. And so while I'm waiting for him, like I said, I'm on TikTok because I made a video saying, hey, all you Christians out there, ask me questions. I've already answered a couple. This person says, Boom Boom T22 says, what happened before the Big Bang? And how can you create something out of nothing? Now, this one has actually gotten a certain number of replies from other Christians, which is entertaining. This one says, so that's also the same question with God. What came before God? How was he created? Do you really think something came from nothing? Boom Boom says, yes, I do. That's the whole reason he's called the creator. My whole reason for asking this is solely because science has not been able to answer that yet. That's the big thing. That's the biggest word right there. Yet. Yet. We didn't know where lightning came from. Yet. And then we figured it out. We didn't know where typhoons and what do you call those massive waves? Why can't I think of the word? We didn't know where those came from, so we made gods, saying the gods were doing it. And then we got enough science. We didn't know where they came from yet. And then we got enough science. And now we know where they can't come from. So there is no gods controlling those things. But I respect your beliefs as well. Well, truth is, religion doesn't explain it either. If we all agree something can't come from nothing, then the creator came from something else as well. Yeah. Then they started arguing. That's entertaining. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. I want to see if he's officially on. Not quite. He's working on it. He usually has a 10-minute mark. He started about 9 minutes and 30 seconds ago. Do you think some people treat science... This is from Dom. Do you think some people treat science as a religion? And if so, where's the line? Well, it's hard to treat science with a religion when science is constantly disproving itself. Right? I mean, let me see here. Let's use the egg example, okay? We knew in the beginning, or thought in the beginning, let's just say thought, for all sakes and purposes, that eggs were good for us. We need eggs. Oh, yeah, they're so good. Lots of protein. La, la, la. And then science was just like, that's a lot of cholesterol. That's a lot of cholesterol in those eggs. It's bad for you. So science disproven the first one by noticing all the cholesterol. So that's where that whole hype, eggs are bad for you, okay? So we can't have those eggs. So... And then, science continued. Science doesn't stop there. Just because they find an answer doesn't mean they stop studying, right? They found out, yes, there's a lot of cholesterol in those eggs, but cholesterol in those eggs has nothing to do with your cholesterol. So if you eat a lot of eggs, your cholesterol won't go up because they're actually two very separate cholesterols. So then we went from eggs are good for you to eggs are not good for you, to eggs are good for you again, at least until we find something else that they may not be good for us. So yes, it does change over time. That's the line. Religion accepts their answers with a capital A and never questions them. Science questions itself and is always looking for a better answer. Boom. Does that answer your question, Dom? Let's see if Black Tony Stark's on. He is. Knocking. Knock, knock, emmer, effer. Lal. Is it not working? Should be working. Aha!
There it is.
Oh, that was loud in my ear. That scared the piss out of me.
Sorry, Dustin.
That's okay. I'm turning you down. Dom, do me a favor. Tell me how the voice volumes are between us. I can bring it up or down, please. Dom's here, by the way. I've been talking with him.
Nice.
Okay. That's a bit...
Hello, Dom. Hello, Dom.
Hinduism changes over time. Does it? I don't know that for a fact either way, one way or the other. Maybe turn Tony down a bit. You got it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can turn my mic down a little bit too. There we go.
Well, don't be fucking with both of our shits. Ask people on your stream how we are. Jesus.
Oh, shoot. What's up, Dustin? You still unpacking Chiggles? I bet you are. So that's why I hate moving, because when you move, you got a lot to unpack.
How's that, Dom?
All the time. All the time. You have a lot to unpack.
So I've been, while I was waiting for you, I was going through my TikTok, through the one I made that was asking people to ask atheists a question. And I've been going through them. And Dom says, dope, sounding good. So I guess we're both good again.
Nice. So did you get any takers?
Oh, yeah, I was answering a few of them. And I might have you answer some of these.
Okay. I'm good. But no, Dustin, how's your week been first? Let's talk
about
that.
Yeah, we got to do small talk. You're right about that. My week was slow. We were off Monday, which made the 4-day week much longer than any 5-day week.
Yeah, sure. You're damn right about that. I thought it was going to be over sooner than it was, and I was sadly mistaken.
Right. Um, okay, so Dom says, I think faith is often used as the comparison. Like people say, have some faith in science. But I think that's a bit of a cliche point. But I've heard some people talk about those sort of implicated dogmas, like the idea that science has explained most things already. I wouldn't say most things, but a hell of a lot more than religion did, so I agree.
Mm.
But yeah, my work has not had any work. Okay, so what I do, yeah, back to you, Tony.
Okay.
What I do is I work in a metal factory. Okay, I have grinding belts, and all the parts that come out of Forge come directly to me and my crew. And the parts are anywhere between, I mean, some of them are like 5 pounds, but they can get anywhere between 25 and 96 pounds. We don't have any hoists or anything to hold them up, and the grinding belt is like this, right? And so I have to pick up heavy parts like this big, hold them up to the belts, not up to my head, it's a little lower, but up to the belts to get certain things off of them that Forge couldn't, maybe get the sharp edges off, and I do that 8 hours a day with nothing more than a half-hour lunch and a 10-minute break, and that's it.
Oh my goodness.
So I got some muscle, bruh. But
Yeah.
Forge has been down for the past month and a half, but we had a lot of work, and so we just kept working. We just ran out this week. We have been sitting there bored. You want to talk about a long ass week?
You don't have to tell me. I know this week has been long.
Has
It's been
nothing
long for me too.
has nothing to do with the tariffs either, because we have a lot of back stock that we can just use, and
Mm.
but
Is it just a staffing issue? Maybe it's not a lot
no,
of people.
Forge is down. So
Oh.
sorry. So yeah, Forge is down. So like, if Forge ain't working, I'm not getting any parts. And the way my manager puts it is he likes to vent to me a lot. He's an old school, old black guy. He actually was retired. So that's how old school he is, right? So, but he came back because he had to fix the place back up. And he was venting to me, and he goes, Dustin, what happens when you need to change the brakes of your car? You change the brake pads, right? If you don't, it affects the rotors, it affects the tie rods, it affects everything underneath it if you don't change those brake pads, right? I'm like, right. He goes, man, they don't change the fucking brake pads. He goes, they wait for the whole thing to fall apart and then they react. And now we're down for months because they don't want to change no stupid brake pads. I love that guy. So, yeah, that's why it's been down for so long.
Yeah, this week was this long because I think we're off Monday. I was off on Monday, and the week was this long for no reason whatsoever. There's no reason why it needed to be that long.
I agree. I'm reading Dom's comments here. So, do you... actually, I'll ask you this because I know my opinion. Do you think science is the only way to truth?
Oh,
I'm asking you the difficult questions today.
that's a really good question. Do I think science is the only way to truth? Oh, I'd have to say yes.
Hell yeah.
I'd have to say yes. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why because I've done a lot of stupid shit in my life, like went to school to be a psychologist and never pursued it. And I'm regretting it now because I could probably be sitting somewhere diagnosing people, giving them medication that they don't need, and making tons of money to do it.
Hell, if I did that, I'd be retired by now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I just, but I don't regret my path in life, but I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's so funny, and I've been called a manipulator for doing this, Dustin.
The manipulator.
They called me a manipulator. They said
okay.
You're because there is certain things. Okay, I'm gonna try it on you, Dustin.
Okie dokie.
I want you to look at the camera. I want to see your face. Tell me a time when you were your happiest. You just did it. You don't even. We all do it. Okay, stop. You don't have to do it now. You don't have to do it now. Okay. All right. So there was something that they taught me in school. They were saying how to tell the difference between somebody lying or somebody telling the truth. And there's a thing that people do, and we all do it. We don't realize we do it. It's just subliminal. It's just something that's wired into our brain and DNA. Okay. When I asked you, you looked up to the left. You don't even realize you did it. You looked around, and then as you started to think and get close to that moment of, I think I know what it is, you look to the left. You look up in the corner to the left. And that was one of the things, the traits that they told us that people do. It's like they do something, there's something with their eyes. They'll either look to the left, or if there's something bad that happened, like I'm gonna say, hey, Dustin, tell me about one of your lowest moments in life. There's always an action that you'll do. There might be something where people will retract and they'll turn their head to the right, and and we all do it. And so I use that a lot in dating to find out. But see, that's where I believe that there's truth in science, because we all do it. Every last one of us do it. We all do these certain little nicks and ticks and traits and things that's wired into our brain, which can determine whether you're being honest, whether you're lying, whether you have anxiety, whether you're just a whole bunch of different things, right? And so that's why I say yes.
Mine was because I was the time I thought I was happiest. I was in my most previous apartment, and well, it wasn't an apartment; it was a trailer, and the whole trailer was mine. It was beautiful. My dog was still alive. I'm just like, yeah, I want to say I was the happiest then, and I'm just like, really? That was the happiest I ever been? I wasn't that happy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so Dom continued. After he said, do you think science is the only way to the truth? He said that idea came up from Alex O'Connor, that it's a statement that refutes itself. Okay. He said that the statement itself is not scientific because it cannot be tested, observed, or falsified using the scientific method. And that if only scientific statements are valid, and this statement isn't scientific, then it invalidates itself.
That's interesting.
Nah, I kind of disagree with that.
That is interesting, but I don't know. How can you say science can't tell the truth? It's just...
So I get what he's saying. You know, it's like, do you think science is the only way to truth? And it says, well, that question can't be based on the scientific method. So it refutes itself. And I'm like, no. Actually, that's perfect, because you can test that. Because you can say science has proven a lot and continues to prove a lot and proves itself wrong by proving more and more stuff. So using the scientific method to question that question, yes, that science, I believe, is the only way to truth. He might have tried to make it sound like a philosophical statement, but I think he failed for, well, at least someone like me, because I'm just like, nope, that doesn't sound philosophical at all. That sounds like a downright scientific
scientific question. That was a good question, though.
It was.
But I think I might have answered differently if I hadn't had that example. Probably. Who knows?
That's okay. All right, let me see here. What else did I get? Because I got a lot of stuff here.
Okay.
Nope, not that one. Hold on.
Can I bring up something that you talked about last week?
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah, we have a bunch of questions back and forth, so we're good.
Oh yeah. Last week you brought up a good point of something that I did not think about, and it was commercialized religion.
Okay.
And I started thinking about it, and I started going into it, and then I started like just doing research, and then my brain started clicking and going other places, and I started trying to look at other things, and I was like, oh my God, this is overload. it's kind of funny that you brought it up because I did discuss that with somebody. I showed them the clip that you put on TikTok, and they came back was like, "Well, I don't see anything wrong with commercialized religion," and I said, "Oh, okay." Now I said, before we go any further, how much time you got? And two, you already know what I'm going to ask you. Why? Why don't you have a problem with commercialized religion? And this is what this person said to me. They said, well, I think that commercialized religion is just a modern approach to bringing in a younger crowd into the fold, or as what she said, young parishioners, which is a term they use a lot in church. So she was saying it's just a modern approach to bringing in young parishioners, and I was like, yeah, but you just missed the whole part about it being commercialized. Like there's two parts to that whole word. Commercial meaning finances, money, that whole part of it, and religion. And she was just like, well, no, I don't think it has anything to do with money. I think it has more or less to do with it being a modern approach to bringing in a younger crowd. Like that older generation of church going people are dying out, and they need new people to fill the shoes.
She's. I'm trying not to insult the person.
No, there is no way to. One thing I've learned is there is no way to not insult somebody who's wrong.
Yes, but I would have been downright insulting. So
Okay.
I'm going to say they are confused at the question. And that's being the nicest freaking possible about it. Because you said commercialism. What is commercialism? Yeah. It's buying and selling and making a business out of it, right? That's what commercialism is. Okay, this person, I can tell through that story that she thought you meant commercials. What's wrong with putting your religion on a commercial? Come to God. That's not what we're talking about.
No. I just thought that was interesting because I showed her the clip, and that's exactly what she said to me. And I was like, well, I thought the modern approach to bringing people back into the church was allowing them to wear the clothes that they would like to wear. Like, why can't I just go in there with my Slipknot shirt on? I just like the music, but I still believe in God, right? So why can't I wear my regular clothes? Why do I have to wear a suit and tie? Why do we have to listen to the old time churchy music? Can't we play a little rock, a little mix it in? They have Christian metal, by the way. Yes. I heard it and I was just like, this sounds really good. Besides, only because I can't understand the words that they're saying. But the music itself sounds absolutely amazing. So I was like, wouldn't that be more along the lines of bringing in that younger crowd, bringing in that new modern millennial, whatever the fuck you want to call them, crowd into religion? And she said, no. And I said, well, in other words, then commercialized religion is just a new scheme to get money. That's all it is.
Yep.
They can't get money the old way, so now they're working on a new way to get the money. And so she challenged me, and she says, well, what are the ways that they're getting money? Because, what other ways could the church get money? I was like, have you been to a bookstore lately? I was like, go to a bookstore and go to the theological section or whatever. There are so many books of people writing testimonies of what happened to them and what do they feel about Christianity or this and that. And I was like, there's a really thin line between faith and business when it costs $49.99. And I'm just being honest with you. It's just a really thin line. And I was like, what I found is most of those books aren't even theologically sound. They're not even religiously soothing. It's just more or less, hey, I wrote a book and I want you to buy it in the name of God and put $49 in my pocket.
The thing that bugs me about that is that have you looked at the Bibles, the many, many different Bibles. It's like there is an official Bible, and that yet people are making their own
Hmm.
and trying to sell it. It's just like, I don't care if I was in a religion and I was a devout, whatever it was, and somebody made their own version of a book I held incredibly sacred, I would call that sacrilegious.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, actually.
At least that's my opinion. But yes.
That's exactly what it is. Did you know, like, Dustin, in like 2024, um, the Easter was the most celebrated religious holiday in this country. It
I believe
brought
it. But go ahead.
it brought retail up annually 19.5%. Now, when I started running these numbers to her, and I was like, now tell me this is not commercialized. She said, well, it's Easter. It's the Easter bunny. I said, no, 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 no. Look, you can't backtrack on this one. I got you now. Like, we're eye to eye on this one. Easter is supposed to be the raising of Jesus Christ. The third day he rose and blah, 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 blah. I know. I was in church. I was there.
You were there? Oh my God.
I was there. I was there. So I was like, that's what it's about. Why around that time are we spending more money in regards to that? It's not the Easter bunny. People aren't out spending $100 on Easter eggs. You know,
Wow.
they're going out buying an Easter suit. You know, big lot of food for Easter dinner, Easter
Lots of
Sunday
food.
dinner. Yeah, like you can't tell me that it's not commercialized. At that point, she was insulted, as you could probably have guessed, and
How is that
decided
even
not to come.
insulting, though? I wouldn't call that
Because
insulting.
Well, because I'm talking about her religion, but my whole defense was I was part of it. Like, I'm not talking about something I don't know. I'm talking about something that I was groomed into. So if I have a problem with it, it's not you. It's obviously something I peeped within it and decided like this is not the move. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, okay.
but it was crazy. And so uh, I'm actually trying to go out and get a little more input on that because I think you touched the nerve with commercialized religion. You really did.
Okay, maybe I should cover that more often, like make a nice, half hour not podcast but video
You
on
should.
it.
I didn't know how much of a problem it was. There's 3 or 4 people that talked to me about it.
Okay. All right, I want to go over this really quick, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Dom says he had a religious dream last night.
Ooh.
Dreamt about an interpretation of a Hindu text. Okay. It's short. The text goes like, that is full, this is full. From that fullness comes this fullness. And then the dream, I was floating around some spirit realm, and the guide said to me, behold the other fullness. And I opened some box thing, and whoa. Is that an airplane I'm hearing? I heard a noise.
That was probably a car that just went down the street.
Okay. And I open some box thing, and I see a miniature of the entire universe in front of me. That is the dream, isn't it? I know it has nothing to do with your dream, but my dream would be to have my own universe, even a mini universe that I could control. I am God of this little universe. It's an
You know what
interesting one, though.
you know what I always like, Dustin? Where it's just the old. We need to bring back some of those old words. I had to hold myself from laughing when you said behold. Behold. Oh, I think we should start bringing back some of that old terminology. Thou, behold, you know that
Okay.
whole thing.
All
So,
right.
do you feel that if you were the god of your own universe, how would you run that, Dustin? Would you require people to pay tithes?
No, what I would do, and honestly, it would be purely for scientific research, right? So
Mm.
I would have some sort of living organism, obviously, because we found out there are three elements that create life. That's how single cells start. We need the three elements to combine in a certain way, which I find the most fascinating thing in the world, by the way. But I would get life started, except for I would obviously get the evolution part of it at a much accelerated rate. I want to see, them growing up, all that stuff. But my research would be, if anybody is even considering thinking about starting any kind of religion, I would be there to put a stop to it before that person has a chance to tell anyone else about it. So as long as nobody believes in anything, I want to see how far their science could go in the amount of time that we've been alive. Because there's no dark ages to stop it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of the Dark Ages, yeah, you're right. Oh, that's be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's the first place I go when I think about that. And if their technology is that much better, we could use it. Because I would have the blueprints inside this universe. I'd just write it all down. I would be cheating, and it would be awesome.
It's very interesting that you said that you would not require them to tithe to pay 10% of their whatever they have to their ultimate great Dustin in the sky.
I mean, maybe I'd have a second universe just so I could feel the worship, But
right. The all-powerful Dustin actually needs money from the thing that he created.
That'd be
oh man, I think that would be cool. There is actually a game called Worldbox where you are actually creating your own society of your everything, and it's actually a pretty good game. I think it's $21.99. It might be a little bit cheaper now, but for the graphics, it is kind of old school graphics, 2D, whatever. But the concept of the game is pretty cool, and you can either control the destiny of the people you created, or you could just drop them on a map that you create or a map of the earth and let it go. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's amazing the paths that AI takes when you just let it go by itself.
AI has gotten so far so quick, and in my opinion, not quick enough, because there's so many things I want to do with it that it can't do yet. All right, so let's see what else we got. Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
This person called Meow Meow says she is not a Christian, but to you, what is the most convincing argument you've heard for Christianity?
The most convincing argument?
Yep. Even if it's not convincing at all, she's looking for the most convincing one.
For me to convert or believe into it?
No, what is the most convincing one? Like, say, you have a point,
I honestly, I can't say I've heard one, because
I had a very hard time answering that one.
If I do think of one, then at the end of it, once my logic starts kicking in, it just kind of just repeats all of everything that I was thinking. Here, I'll give you an example. Prosperity gospel. You ever heard of that?
No, I don't believe I have.
I've gone to several different churches, and one of that I've gone to, one of the pastors preaches something called prosperity gospel. For people who don't know, prosperity gospel is emphasizing God's blessings as a manifestation of wealth, health, or happiness in your life, which is often it's associated with like positive thinking and prayer and blah 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 and all that stuff. So it's basically like I have faith that I'm going to be rich, and I declare it positively into the universe, and then I take a little bit of my money and I give it to God. He's going to give it back to me tenfold and make me rich. That's prosperity gospel, right? So
I mean, that's kind of most of their arguments, isn't it? It's like if you're, as long as you're a good Christian here, when you die, you get your own castle in heaven.
Okay, but so basically, in other words, that makes God quid pro quo.
Is it quid pro if you're threatened?
Ooh.
It's like think of the
Yeah.
mafia, like they go into a business. You want some protection? You got to pay us all this money, and but if you say no, they kick your ass. They destroy the business in the process, right? But if you
Right.
do pay them, not only do they not kick your ass and leave your business alone, but then they will protect your business from anyone else who's like trying to rob your store or something like that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, see, that's where I have to. So then, that's why I have a problem with finding a good point in Christianity because is it really, like you said, is it really a good point if I'm threatened? When you die, I'm going to send you to this really bad place and you're going to stay there forever, but I love you.
But I love you. I love
But I
it.
love you. Like, I love you and I want the best for you. And, um, I'm your dad. But when you die, because you didn't do the right thing, I'm going to send you somewhere and I'm not going to forgive you for it. You're going to ask for forgiveness and you're going to say, hey, I was wrong. I didn't know this was going to happen. Hey, I'm sorry. What can we do about it? And you go, no, 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 no. I love you so much and I wanted you to do this, but now here's your ultimate punishment that you're going to get forever. And I can't forgive you, even though I'm all about forgiveness and turning the other cheek. Yeah. So yeah, I
Okay.
can't find a good point. So that I've always thought that it was a quid pro quo with him, but I didn't think about the punishment thing about the aspect of it. But
Give me 1 second. I was listening, but responding is
oh no,
hard.
no, you're fine. You're
Yeah,
fine.
I keep
Yeah.
forgetting to advertise. It's like, hey, I'm live, by the way. So if anyone wants to do that, Dom, if you're still here, if you have Blue Sky or Twitter, it's Twitter. It's not X. It's Twitter. Yeah, feel free to share it. Get some people in here. Whatever. Yeah. Let me see. Atheism, Twitch, podcast. Always gotta use the hashtags.
Right.
And let's just say religion. That's a good last one.
You know what? I got a question for you, Dustin.
Oh boy. What?
No, no, no. Do you think that our country would be ran better if it was ran by atheists?
Well, considering churches would have to pay taxes, I feel like our deficit would be a lot lower. That's for starters.
Ooh. But do you think it'll be ran a whole lot better? Because the basis of atheism is kind of science, right? So let's just say we're running a country based off of facts and science. Do you think that it would run better or it would run similar or
No,
basically
it would
fall into
definitely.
just
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Nope, I was gonna say it's definitely would be run different because there wouldn't be this many arguments over God be put in schools, Bibles, being mandatorily read in schools, stuff like that. War on Christmas. I mean, pick a topic. We're always arguing about that. Can we get off these topics and actually have an argument or a debate on real topics? Should lunch at
Right.
school be free, for example? Right?
It should. It should. It should.
And that's just
But
one example.
all right, so I wanted to ask you that question because I started doing some research earlier today when I thought about that question to ask you. And I said, you know what I've never known? I've never really truly known what is the religious breakdown of our government. I we don't like we never really talk about it. The religious breakdown of our politicians that we elect and put into office. So I got this. This is as recent as January 2025 when the House, the 119th Congress, whatever year we're on now, everybody went in office. And this might be a little surprising for you, Dustin, but I was completely shocked. 98% of our Republican politicians are Christian.
That's not surprising.
98%. 76% of the Democrats are Christian.
That I'm surprised about.
Three people out of the entire Senate and House, which I forgot the numbers, but let's just forget what the numbers are. Let's just say there's 120 House members and 70 Senate members. I don't know the numbers, but if whoever wants to research it, you can. You can find out how many people are in the House and the Senate. But 3 people out of the entire congressional body have no religious affiliation whatsoever. 3. That is mind-blowing that there are 3 people out here who said, no, there's no God. No.
I kind of thought that if you were Republican, it was kind of required that you were religious.
I wonder if it was.
I always thought
I wonder if it was. But to me, that's a little concerning because you literally have people who are making laws for this country, not based off of science or it's right. They're basing it off a belief system. My mommy and daddy raised me this way. So you have people writing laws to say, hey, look, it's not right for, this for you to do this to this person. I can't come up with an example, but it's not right that you do this. And then you got people who are like signing off on it or denying it because, well, God said it's supposed to be like this. So I don't care if it's right or wrong, but God said this, and this is how they're running our country. That's a little scary, Dustin.
Yeah.
That really is scary for me.
I remember, this reminds me, I don't know, it's almost off topic, but it does remind me a bit. So for most of my life growing up, my dad he was Catholic, but he wasn't religious,
Right.
He just never went to church, but he believed in God. Maybe he prayed at his own time. Who knows?
Hey, Wheat Bread, how are you?
Holy crap,
yes.
Wheat Bread. Yes. I haven't heard about him.
That is Dustin.
Haven't heard from Wheat Bread in forever.
I'm sorry, Dustin. Go ahead.
Nope, that's okay. So, my dad wasn't religious, like I said. We spent all of our time either doing homework or having fun or camping, running dogs. Everything just not religious. Okay. My mom and dad then split up. Dad went through a girlfriend or two and eventually found one that he wanted to keep. And out of nowhere, they both decided they wanted to be very religious. Like, very religious. And a good example is one Christmas, he's just like, hey, all you kids are going to get 3 presents each this year. Because Jesus got 3 presents when he was born.
Okay.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? So, and then my dad's girl had a grandmother who was on her deathbed, right? She didn't have long to go, and they were having the whole family go see her. It's like, yep, go see her before she passes. They didn't allow me to go because they knew I wasn't religious. We just didn't want the devil to be anywhere near her on her last days.
Oh, wow. What the fuck,
I wasn't really complaining because I didn't want to go, but at the same time, it was kind of on the insulting side, wasn't it?
Yes, that is. There's a lot of things I've said, but that's not one of them. What am I drinking tonight, Shiggles? I will be drinking later on after me and Dustin do our podcast. I'm gonna run over to my shop. There go my growlers. I washed all of them. They're clean. I'm gonna get that filled up, and then I'm gonna come back and then probably stream some games tonight. But that'll be later on. I don't know. What do you think I should get, Shiggles? I'm probably going to go get a local IPA from El Yeah. So
Just curious, why do you have peanut butter in the background?
in my constant track to lose weight, which is just a constant struggle I've had over the last couple of years, that's my healthy snack, peanut butter. So when I'm sitting here streaming and I'm starting to be like, you know what, I could totally go for some fries covered with cheese.
Okay.
I grab a spoon of peanut butter, and it does work. It does work. It's helped. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I can actually fit into one of my shirts now. I couldn't fit into it before. So I was like, holy shit, I could wear this shirt now.
That's not a bad plan. I mean, I was about to say, I mean, if you use protein, because protein eats fat, it doesn't just build muscle. And I'm just like, wait, that's what peanut butter does. You know what? I don't have any argument.
Dustin, well, on behalf of all the other logical people out there, man, I'm sorry that was said to you, Dustin. That was fucking nasty, dude.
I'm not.
That was something nasty. I'm pretty sure you're over it. I know you.
Oh, they're over it too. They're no longer. I mean, they're religious, but they're not as religious anymore. Because they told me, and this was after, right? They went to their pastor to complain about me and say, "What do we do about Dustin?" And their pastor was just like, "Bro, you are way too religious. You got to dial it back." And they were like, "Our pastor told us to dial it back." Okay, maybe we are pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, you're pushing the envelope. I am gonna get an IPA. You already know, Shiggles. I ain't messing around. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I hate talking about this type of stuff because I don't want people to feel bad for their belief system. I don't want anybody who's ever watching this. I don't want you to feel bad because you're Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or whatever. It's just that my personal experiences in life have afforded me to be like, I can't do that. Like the church that I went to, it's a double-edged sword. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it came out after I left the church and got older that the pastor was, messing around with the little boys. He was doing his thing. And not only did he mess around with those little boys, like he funded their whole ride to school. They got brand new cars. They got money in their pocket. And I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, all I had to do was a little couple pee-pee touches and I would have got a full ride to school. It doesn't sound like a bad idea. Would I wanted to do it? No, but I have limits to what I would have done. You know what I mean? I'm like,
there's a price on everything.
Yeah, like, you know what? Oh, you just want me to touch you in the nether region? All right, cool.
Oh,
I'll throw a little baby oil on you down there if you're gonna pay for my college and I don't have to go $100K in debt. Like, I mean, like, just
Public service announcement. This is why we're not live on TikTok. This would have been banned.
No, but so looking at that, it's kind of like I literally firsthand experienced some wild stuff that just afforded me to be like, nah, I can't follow this. I can't follow something that tells me that IPAs is bad, but my pastor wants to fuck me. I can't do it. I can't do it.
By the way, whenever you were hitting, it's making your microphone go dong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was slamming on my desk. Ooh, Lagunitas? I'm gonna see if they got some Lagunitas while I'm there. I know they don't have it on tap, but I know they have it on the shelf.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, Dustin. That's just.
Oh,
haven't been able to.
Here's something I wanted. No, that's all right. I was just going through the questions from the TikTok thing, and this one I did want to touch on. So this person called Thoughtseize. I love the name, honestly. Thoughtseize. But obviously religious because of what they said. If we came, and we've already talked about this, me and you, but if we came from monkeys, then why are there still keys, man?
I like that.
Interesting way to ask the question, but yes. But go ahead. I'm going to let you answer this one first.
Okay. Here's a perfect example. Ford made cars. Why are there Teslas? Ford, Henry Ford made the original car, and here we are 100 years or whatever later. Why do we have electric cars? Are there still not Fords around that run on gasoline and oil and everything else? But we also have cars that are electric. They run off batteries.
So I'm going to call it a weird comparison, but somehow it fits.
Well, it's a car, right? A Tesla is a car. It's an electric car that runs off batteries. And then you have a Ford, which is a car. It runs off gasoline. It's in the same thing. You can go to one dealership and you can buy an electric car, and you can buy a Ford, which is a gas or a diesel car. I think it's no different. You can go to a zoo and you can see monkeys behind the glass, and you can see monkeys walking around eating hot dogs. You know what I mean? We're all the same G. Oh, go ahead, Liz.
No, you're good. You're good. I was going to let you finish if you had something to finish up on.
Well, it's all the same genome. They've looked at our DNA, and the striking comparisons between a monkey and us is like not that much different.
Right. I mean, well, okay, so I was in an argument with a guy at work. Now, we are friends in real life. We've never hung out, though. We're just, we're at work. We talk all the time.
Right.
And remember, I told you about that. We had an argument. And now I told you, and I don't think I actually got your opinion on that, but I said, I'm wondering, and I don't know if it would be the case or not, but I did bring it up to him. And I said, because he is black, now the term monkey has been used a lot in black slurs. Okay. Right. I can see that turning off random people to being like, listen, we got called that enough. No, we're not monkeys. Stop calling us monkeys. It's like, I'm not calling you monkeys. Okay? I was wondering if that was like, it was an immediate defense mechanism coming up when you say, hey, we evolved with monkeys. And I told him that. We talked later at work after he... Precious, what are you doing? I think she's trying to chew on cords. Get out of there. You little shit. She wants to play. Anyway. So yeah, I had to tell him we didn't evolve from monkeys. We evolved with monkeys. The problem is it was around the same exact time. Okay? Yeah, around the same time, not at the exact same time. But we are all primates, and there is not one kind of monkey. There are many, many different kinds of monkeys, and they are very different from each other. In a way, that's like us. Okay? We have opposable thumbs. We have a tailbone. Not all monkeys have tails. Some of them have tailbones. Okay? They have two boobs. How many animals only have two boobs? Freaking not many. I think
not many.
Honestly, I think only primates. If there is others, I can't think of any right now.
Me neither.
Right. So it's like we are primates. We didn't evolve from monkeys. That's why monkeys are still here. It's like, here's the part where we started growing, right? And monkeys went like this and started branching. We went over here, and some of it went like this and started branching somewhere. We evolved with them, not from them.
Well, let's go back. Well, I want to touch on one thing. Two things. We'll touch on two things. For a black person, saying that if you're not pretty sound logically, it is a defense mechanism. Because of the striking comparison color-wise with us with monkeys, and there's white color. The added, there's albino. Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'll let you finish. Sorry about that.
No. The color comparison, but it's not really so much the color comparison. It's more or less the action. When I hate to say it, and this kind of goes back to the whole black fatigue thing. People going out acting stupid, and unfortunately, I know growing up, being raised by that older generation, my grandmother, or you're running around the store acting stupid, hopping around like a monkey. So unfortunately, that just gets tied to us. I don't know. Maybe that'd be something that'd be interesting. I could talk to some of my white friends and be like, "Hey, have you ever acted stupid in public?" And your mom said, "Hey, stop acting like a monkey." Like, is that something? That's just something that's in the black community. So people do take offense to it. If they can take it out of context pretty fast. They
Yes.
really will take it out of.
That was the
But
point I was trying to make, right? Yep.
yeah, he took it out of context pretty fast. But on the other hand, if you're somebody who's like me, who's pretty logical, and is tired of black fatigue, yeah, those people over there. That's well, of course, I can't say what I normally say. But those
I know.
those ninjas, ninjas, those over there are acting so stupid, and it's getting on my nerves. And unfortunately, because of the behaviors that they're exhibiting, I literally have to walk somewhere and have to literally dial myself down so people don't think that I'm acting like a monkey.
You got to take a
So I
breath.
think I think that's where I think that's where that came in. That them being a little defensive with
Could
it,
this
but
be? Could it be? I mean, I don't know. So I'm genuinely asking you at this point.
no.
So there are a lot of spoiled ass kids out there, right?
Right.
When they act a fool, let's call it acting a fool, and the mother doesn't correct them, instead she says, "If you calm down, I'll buy you a Snickers," or something like that,
Ooh.
right? They never learn. They never learn to calm down, to listen to their mom, to be respectful. Okay, so do you think that that is a possibility why people act up later in life? And I realize this is because you're talking about black fatigue, but it's not. It's obviously not just black people. We've seen white people do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you think that would be probably a root cause? Like, do you think there's a chance of that being the root cause? That's a good way to ask it.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely a root cause. It is. That is just a coping mechanism for bad parenting. Like I can't control my kid. Um, it's oh my god, there's so many branches to the tree, man.
I know. That's why I had a hard time asking you because I'm like I'm
It's
trying
so
to ask
many
five
branches.
different questions.
Well, I'm just gonna pick fruit from off of three of the branches and leave it at that. And I'm pretty sure there's 20 different branches.
Hold on, let
So
me grab a
one.
notepad. Give me a second.
So okay, so one for me is yeah, that's a coping mechanism for bad parenting. I'm guilty of it. I've gone to the store and I'm just like, oh my god, I wish your mom was here. You're getting on my nerves. Here's your bag of tackies. Shut the hell up. You know what I mean?
Here's your bag of
Um, uh,
tackies.
yeah. So
I've never had
unfortunately,
them. I've never had them, by the way. That's
I've
why.
never had. Unfortunately, my kids didn't grow up crazy because we didn't do that all the time.
I
But
keep forgetting you
for
have kids. Man.
yeah, for parents that do that all the time, yes, that's one. That's one. That is a prerequisite to acting stupid when you get older. The other one I feel is sheltered. For me, growing up in a Christian home, I wasn't allowed to listen to rock music. Um, this is how misinformed my stepmother was.
Uh oh.
She was she was like, I heard your Slipknot CD that you had in your CD player because I was cleaning your room, and that song 666 is that's I can't believe you. You know, I'm not raising you to be like that. And then she was like, you're not allowed to listen to any more rock music. If you want to listen to rock music, you have to listen to Ozzy Osbourne or ACDC.
Ozzy
Now,
Osbourne?
you can imagine my face, right? I'm sitting there like, oh my God, my mom has no idea who Ozzy Osbourne is.
Exactly why I just said Ozzy Osbourne. Wait a minute.
I was like, sure, I'll gladly listen to ACDC and Ozzy Osbourne, mom. So, but
Okay.
I was so sheltered growing up where so many things were taken from me that when I finally got 18, Dustin, there's no reason why I don't have 10 kids running around. Um, I'm not a drug addict of some sort. Um, I wouldn't say I'm borderline alcoholic, but I do enjoy my beers. So I just kind of got a little wide open. Like when I first started, like get my first girlfriend and started realizing the joys of sex because my church told me I'm not allowed to have sex until I get married at the ripe age of 30 something.
And let me guess, you weren't taught the safe way to do it because it was all about abstinence.
Oh, yeah, it was all about abstinence. It was just don't have it at all. Just don't do it at all. Not allowed to. So when I finally did do it, and then it worked out in my favor because I also experienced it with another sheltered Christian going girl. So we both woke, like when we both rolled over after our first orgasms, we were like, oh my God, like, can we do this 10 more times? Now we were smart. We did, learn about condoms and using them. But
Okay.
imagine if we didn't. Imagine if we didn't. Imagine how many kids I would have just
That's
being unprotected out here. Yeah, it's
one more
it's
reason.
ridiculous.
It's one more reason why religion sucks, because they don't want to teach about that stuff, about safe sex. They just say don't do it. And
Don't do it.
sorry, when kids grow up, what's the first thing they're going to do when they're on their own? What did my mom tell me not to do? Oh, yeah, I'm
Everything
totally
there.
doing that.
So, so one is so one is like bad parenting, giving your kid everything you want. They get over, they act stupid. Two, sheltered. I was sheltered. When I got older, I wouldn't say I act stupid, but I could have went a whole way down that hole. I could have went really, really far down that hole. You know what I mean? Because I
Yes.
wasn't allowed to experience life outside of video games. And then the third thing is, um, I think people just like having fun. Like it and when you get a group of people together and they're all acting the same, regardless of how it's perceived, it's just fun.
Influence can be definitely one of them. You're right.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like, any other time I don't act like this, but hey, it's about 10 other people here. We're having a good time. We're drinking. We're gonna act like some monkeys. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But there's like so many different branches to that tree, Dustin. I don't fucking know if you want to keep going on that one.
You're right. It is. It is a lot of branches. Um,
Let me ask you a question.
okay.
When you, for you, do you feel that perhaps maybe you were sheltered and um, there was a point in life where you started to go out and started experiencing things a little too much that you felt maybe? Like I can honestly say for me, it was alcohol and intimacy. Those
Okay.
were my two vices.
Well, see, I was a nerd growing up, so intimacy just wasn't happening. So,
Okay.
however, I will admit, because I wasn't allowed to do much. Music wasn't a problem because mom didn't try to listen to what we were listening to. When my dad got remarried, that was incredibly strict. We couldn't do much, but luckily it was just a weekend at a time. But my mom didn't like violent video games. There was one for the Nintendo where you're at the top down view screen, kind of like a StarCraft type thing. And you're shooting at each other and the bullets move as slow as like really slow, right? And one's a flamethrower. So if you can light someone on fire, except for it didn't show them like on fire, it just showed fire effects. And the
Hmm.
person was just sort of standing there until eventually they just keeled over.
Oh wow.
And mom looked at that and said, I don't like this. I don't like this. Turn this off.
Really?
Yep. So that was the first thing I did. And but because I was so sheltered and let's just say bored, I don't know. I don't know if I could blame her on it. It could be just plain influence.
Okay.
I got into heavy stealing when I was in my teenage years. I would go to Walmart. I would go to Kmart. I would go to Radio Shack. I would go to Hot Topic. Think of a store that had relatively cool stuff and went in there stealing stuff. And I had a friend who was my best friend at the time. We weren't happy unless we left a store with $100 worth of stuff. And we were thinking of
Mm.
more and more sneaky ways to do it. It's like, oh, these are the things that set the alarm off. So we got these knives that were like just small enough to fit in the palm of our hand, so we could actually just, you know, couldn't even say nothing. You couldn't even see it, and we would just Slice that right off. Okay. Shove it in our pocket. Yeah, I did that. We did that. We were so good at it. So goddamn good at it. And yeah, like
Wow.
in some ways I miss it because it was such a rush. But we did finally get caught, and luckily we were both underage, and that was before like, oh, kids are getting tried as adults. So the Radio Shack guy, who that's the one that caught us, said as long as you return.
Holy shit! Did you say Radio Shack?
Yeah.
Woo! That's old school right there, Dustin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But he said as long as I return everything I stole, he won't press charges. Okay. Here's everything I stole, which I couldn't give him back everything I stole. I sold most of it.
Right.
Right? But I gave him back everything I stole. So I didn't get any charges. Everything was dropped. So I was just like, Me and my buddy looked at each other and said, well, we turn 18 soon. This was a good run. What do you say we go clean from here? It's like, okay, yeah. But we had fun. We got the experience. It was a lot of fun, and we got away with it.
Nothing wrong with that. We've all done something stupid when we're younger. Every last one of us. I don't care. I would like to meet somebody who hasn't. Let's see how they turned out.
What do you mean?
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think all the things that we have done, stupid, all of us, to some point, it built a certain level of character to us and gave us a certain level of personality. I think people who haven't done anything, it's kind of odd to me. Like if I meet somebody and I'm like, you've never done that? Like, no. You've never done this? No. You've never, ever in your entire life? No. Okay, you can't be trusted. I don't know if you can be trusted. Like, you've never done anything. Like, what you've done in your past is not like a foundation of your morals now. It's just one of the things that's like, you've never sat down and be like, I think I want to smoke a little bit.
I get what you're saying. People didn't learn from their experiences.
Yeah. I've learned so much from things that I've done. I really have.
So, did I ever tell you we were talking about multiple things. Like a lot of the things we've been talking about sort of brings me back to a certain point here. So we were talking about black fatigue. Don't act a fool, try to be respectful, like do something with your life, right? Or at least be a relatively upstanding citizen. And then you got, like you were just saying, people who didn't learn from their past, from their mistakes, because either A, they didn't do it, or they're stupid and just never learned.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy I told you about from work, I told you we're friends. He's the one that argued with me about the evolution thing. We didn't come from monkeys, guy.
Right.
He learned, okay? He's not incredibly smart, but he has the biggest potential to be incredibly smart, right?
Okay.
He is not educated, and that's where he's not smart. He is not educated at all. Things that me and you would say, and we'd be like, yeah, everybody knows about this. He doesn't, okay? Because he never took the time to learn. He grew up, his friends and family sold drugs. His friends and family and him has been to prison. He went to prison twice. Right? But then he got kids. Multiple kids. He now has 4 kids living with him. And he told me recently, he was talking to his uncle. He's like, yo, why don't you get a job where I work? It's not a bad place to work. It's not the great place to work, but, it pays decent, And his uncle was just like, oh, so why? Would people be buying there? He goes, no, that's not what I'm talking about at all, because I don't, right? So he's telling me about this. He's just like, the reason I got myself a job is because of my kids. I see my friends either been to prison or are still in prison. Most of my family has been to prison or are in prison. He goes, my dad left. He goes, wants nothing to do with us. He goes, and my mom holds that against me. He goes, I want to break the curse. The hood curse, the black curse, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember exactly what he called it, but it was a curse. He goes, I don't want my kids to have a dad in prison. I don't want my kids to think selling drugs is, not a bad idea. It's a lot of money. Who cares if you go to prison? I want my kids to be better than that. Get a job. Have a license. He's just getting his license. He's 33, I think. So he learned, that's my point. He learned from his past. He goes, I can't do that no more. He's straight. He's 100% straight and narrow now. He's like,
right.
I don't want that for my kids. He currently lives in the hood area. He's trying to move out of there because he knows of all the influences that's currently going on. And he's like, I got to get out of there. I want the best for my kids. I want my kids to have something I never had. Right?
Right.
So I talk high praises of him, and I tell him that all the time. I'm like, dude, you're doing something that a lot of people in the hood just either couldn't do or didn't do. Right?
You know what? Right. So check this out.
Okay.
I'm glad that you brought that up. That's very noble.
Incredibly noble. And it's rare and difficult for someone who's lived like that.
At what point do you narrow down the box that you put around your kids to keep them on that path? Because it's very noble and it's really good that he's doing. Okay. But at some point in time, that road's going to come to an end, and they're going to have to fight against your indoctrination versus the world. And let me explain that.
Okay.
My dad did the same thing with me, but I'm going to tell you where I changed. My dad was like, "Hey, I got a business. I come from 3 generations of plumbers. My great grandfather was a plumber.
Oh no shit.
My grandfather was a plumber. My dad was a plumber. My dad each generation built up the business to whatever it was. I think when my great grandfather started, it was plumbing and heating oil that we provided to our Long Island, where my family's from. Then my grandfather expanded it to heating oil, plumbing. My dad expanded it to plumbing and HVAC. So my dad went to school, got a master plumbing license. He can fix ACs, do all kind of weird shit. Just everything. Just fucking everything. I'm not even going to go into it. But they wanted me to do that. I took on the work ethic part of it, but I didn't take on the actual business part. I was like, you know what? Why do I want to be up under somebody's kitchen sink fixing their line?
Because it's good money.
It is good money, but you know what else is good money? What I do now, sitting behind a computer doing nothing.
But it's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job. It is a full-time job. It's longer than 40 hours because I make it longer than 40 hours. There's no reason why I should be there that long. But I'm one of those people. I'm like, don't put off something for tomorrow that I can do today. That kind of thing.
Yep.
So I start doing stuff for tomorrow, today, and the next thing you know, it's 10, 11 hours. But and that's where the battle that I've constantly had with my dad, where it was like, well, Dad, I don't want to do manual labor. I have no problem fixing my own shit in my house. I have no problem going to my mom's house fixing shit. But I have a problem going to somebody else's house and fixing shit. Not when there's so many different paths to making $60,000, doing 8 hours a day, reading emails. So with that being said, at what point do you think your friend is going to have to close in that box to keep them from wanting to do other things? Because I hate to say it, have you seen a drug dealer lately? With this economy, life is looking pretty good. Selling, with this economy, life is looking pretty good. Even for a woman, like I have daughters, Dustin. Like, check this out. In this economy, a swimsuit model on OnlyFans looks pretty good.
And that's legal.
And it's legal. You don't even have to go down the path of full-fledged porn. You're literally softcore porn and making
bank.
$40,000 a month. so at it's one thing to teach your kids morals, but at what point do you say you kind of sweep your morals up? At what point do they have to not sweep their morals up under the rug to be successful? Does he ever think about that? Is he, you know?
Well, I mean, he has nothing to go by, right?
Okay, okay, yeah, good point.
He's guessing. I mean, all parents guess. All parents are not good parents according to themselves, and they're like, I'm just doing the best I can. He's one of them, except for he never had an example, right? And I give him credit for taking the plunge and trying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you know if he has boys or girls?
He has, in total, he has 7 kids.
Oh,
4 of them
oh, wow.
with him.
Okay.
But he raises them on his own. He doesn't have a girlfriend.
Nice.
Right?
Okay. Very noble.
So he goes, I'm trying to set an example that, I'm not getting harassed by the cops. Just because I'm black or in the hood and I'm actually guilty of something. I'm doing. Yeah, he goes, my biggest thing, he's telling me the biggest thing I'm trying to teach them is respect. He goes, I don't care what they want to do with their life, as long as they do it with some sort of respect, some sort of respectable job. It doesn't matter what it is. I guess his oldest that lives with him is 11, I believe. So he's still got time. They're not thinking about like, oh, I want to be this when I grow up. And really quick, I know it's a little off topic because to answer your question, I don't have an answer to your question, but. Because I don't know, but he told me. Oh no. So when I said the simple things that we talk about that he doesn't know about, and we think that everybody knows about, I brought up to him. He's just like, well, why are we here? Why are we here? Like. If there is no higher power, he goes, I'm not saying I believe in a Christian God, he goes, or any other religion, because that shit is stupid, because his dad was Christian, I think, and his mom was Mormon, or not Mormon, Muslim. So very different religions. I don't remember which is which, but right. So he looked at both and said, yeah, this is bullshit. So he doesn't believe in any religion, but he's not dismissing a higher power. But he goes, but we all have to come from somewhere, right? And so he goes, what do you think happened? Why is there a universe out there? And I was just like, well, you got the Big Bang. And then he goes, and what is that Big Bang? He goes, what is it? What do you mean, what is it? And he goes, what? Did it like explode and then we were all here? What? And I'm like, right, you don't have any education. You don't know what a Big Bang is. The Big Bang Theory is. Shit. Okay. We're okay. We need time for coffee because this is a conversation.
Right. Well, Dustin, do you feel like that's kind of like a breath of fresh air to be able to talk to somebody who's just a blank slate, just a clean, I wouldn't say clean slate, just a blank slate, and you could just literally talk to them. And it's not that you're forcing your belief or thoughts on them, but you're throwing it out there and you're watching the gears in their mind turn and figure this shit out.
I told him that's what I love about him. And a lot of times we're thinking the same thing, right? Now he's got, like I said, he grew up in the hood. I grew up in a white country area. Our accents are different. The way we were obviously raised were very different, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But when it comes to certain things, like, I can't think of any example, and that's why I'm sort of procrastinating on saying it. But whenever we're just like, dude, I'm wondering if such and such, and we're talking about work, and he goes, yo, I was thinking the exact same thing just now. I was coming to tell you about it. And he goes, that's why I think racism is a made up thing, because we were raised very different. You're white, I'm black, yet we are so much alike, and we are. The only difference, really, is that I have more education and I'm self-taught. And he has got the same curious mind as me. He's telling me, where did we all come from? What is the Big Bang? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, we are so much alike, and Oh my God. I wish I could tell you all of it in these 5 minutes we have together to talk.
Man, that's it. Hey, Dustin.
Yo,
This is a little off topic, but
you're good.
I want to kind of get your thoughts on
You're
it.
good. We're going off on tangents here.
Right. No, but you know what? I love talking to you, man, because we just be bouncing off different things that I really don't have anybody else within my vicinity here that I can talk to like this. So, besides my brother, my younger brother is way smarter than I am. So I just kind of feel subpar talking to him half the time.
I want to meet him.
But, yeah, matter of fact, it would be good to have him on. He's on he streams on Twitch, and now that we got the stream together thing, all three of us could actually be on here. It's kind of cool, right?
He can be a guest, absolutely.
All right, I'll ask to see what he wants to do next Friday. Next Saturday. So I know you were saying that your friend was saying like he thinks racism is fake.
Mm-hmm.
How do you what are your thoughts on racism? Period.
Racism. Period. Talk about a loaded question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is loaded, but there's really no wrong answer to it.
No, I know that. I'm trying to think of where to start it, though. Okay. I told you I have a superiority complex.
Okay.
Right? I know I do. My girlfriend said I do. And I don't know if she was joking or not, but after doing some research, I'm pretty sure I do. Everybody is stupid. I don't care what race you are. You could be white, black, Hispanic, freaking... it doesn't matter what religion you are. You could be an atheist. You could be Christian. You could be Muslim. You're a fucking idiot. Okay? My girlfriend's friends are a breath of fresh air because they both have high degrees and we can actually talk intelligently, which is one reason we get along so well, by the way, is because we can actually have an intellectual conversation. No one else in my life can. Okay?
Right.
So, racism, yes, I believe racism itself is man-made. It's like, yeah, obviously there's different races, You were born black, your parents are probably black. They're, freaking Hispanic people got their own Hispanic qualities. So, yeah, people may look, act, maybe an accent different. But as far as the racism itself, very man-made because essentially we all are the same. We have similar and different interests.
Right.
Right? A lot of us are nerds. Me and you are nerds. That's a great example right there.
There we go.
Right? So yeah, it's very man-made. It's like, well, white people are better. It's like, well, how do you figure? Like, give me an example because I'm talking to Black Tony Stark and I can already tell you he'll blow you out of the water with his intelligence. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. I'll let you branch off that.
This is my thoughts on racism. I do believe it exists, but not for the reasons it exists. I believe it exists because we as people always feel the need to belong to a tribe.
We are tribal creatures.
We feel the need to belong to a tribe. So to me, racism has always been a coping mechanism to belong to a specific tribe. I've always felt like it's been a coping mechanism to belong to a specific tribe. But really, what they never realized was there's no such thing as white or black. To me, it's always been rich or poor. Either you fucking have it or you don't.
And I wish I had it.
Me too. Like, that's how it's always been. And the only reason why I feel that I do make good money now, and I always tell people, and they'll be like, I can't believe you don't buy this. I can't believe you don't go here. You have fucking 100 hours of PTO. Why don't you just get on a plane and go here? And I always explain to people, like, the reason why I'm so humble where I am now is because I have, throughout my life, fluctuated from poor to having way more than I should and then right back to poor again. Like I've gone up and down so much that I'm happy just being like. If you guys have ever seen like those old wavelength radios where they got the waves and then they got that bass line, I'm happy just sitting at the bass line. I don't want to go too high and I don't want to go too far down. And I've always argued with people who say, well, there is racism. I'm like, no, there's not racism. It's just people like to belong to a tribe. It's no different than the KKK and the Black Panther Party. The Black Panthers found their tribe. We're black. We're a black militant group. We all like minded, and this is who we are. And then you got the KKK on the other corner, like we all believe that we're better than everybody else, and that's just the way it is. And we don't like those folks over there, and that's just their tribe. But at the end of the day, you got rich and you got poor, and this is how I came up with that. I'm gonna tell you how I came up with that, Dustin. The moment I seen, because I've always thought it was a black and white thing, right? Racism, blah, blah, blah. This is where my thoughts on it changed. The moment that I seen another white person down another white person that may have stayed in the trailer park or stayed on the black side of town, that's when I realized, oh, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're white. You're poor like me. You're poor, so you're grouped with us. No wonder why we get along so well, because you being white and me being black, we both have eaten spaghetti out of a Cool Whip bowl because we couldn't afford silverware. We had plastic silverware, or you know what I'm saying, Dustin. Yeah, you hear that car?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of the guys with those big mufflers out here. They just like to ride up the main road. But I'm like, yeah, you know what it's like to like go to the grocery store and buy those 25-cent barrel drinks because you didn't have $1 to get a real Coke. Like that's what it is, and people never want to hear that. But I'm so glad that you brought that up. Like it's a man-made thing, because people just don't believe, right? It's a man-made thing.
Yep.
I just think it's just rich and poor. Middle class. It's the middle class and the low middle class, or the poor, versus the 2% that got everything, that could literally take a year's worth of their salary and fucking change half of the demographics of the city. If they just take one of those billions of dollars and just, maybe put it into like affordable housing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I want to do some math here. Let me get my calculator out.
Okay. By the way, I'm now live on TikTok. By the way, I decided to turn it on for a little bit and see what happens.
Okay. Let's see, the average housing costs, house price in Georgia. The average house price in Georgia is $330, $30,000. Okay.
Yeah, sounds normal. Yeah.
Sounds normal. 830. Let's see. 33000 divided by a billion.
Divided by a billion.
I mean, 1 billion divided by that. Let's flip it. .33. Now let's do some conversion here. Let's do some math going. Oh my God.
Take your time. I'm trying to get things loaded myself, so.
Oh no, you're good. What I'm trying to do.
Am I alive or not? I love how TikTok has no
Okay,
idea
cool.
if I'm alive or
I
not.
figured it out. I had to figure it out because there's a lot of zeros and billions, Chad. All right, so if a billionaire took one of his billion and poured that 1 billion into the Atlanta housing market for free, with the average cost of how much houses cost in Atlanta, he could literally buy a home for free for 3,333 people. 1 billion. That's all he
Okay,
needs.
that's all we need.
So so I'm sitting here thinking, why not tax the rich again? You know what I mean? Like
Oh my god, I know.
it's that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's never really, it's not even racism. It's rich, middle class versus the poor. Or the poor, well, I'm not even going to put them, we're going to say the poor and the middle class versus the rich. That's what I meant to say. Because the small percentage of billionaires in this country, if they just took $1 billion and invested it into their city, or let's just say whatever billionaire lives down here in Atlanta, I don't know, invested one of his billions into Atlanta, he could literally purchase a home for 3,333 people. 0.33. So that's that many families plus a little bit more.
But then he wouldn't have any
And
money left.
that's if he takes one of his billions. Imagine if he had 10 billion. And he's got 10 billion and he's worth maybe 20 billion. Let's just say he got 10 billion and he gets about a billion every year because of his, assets or income, stock market, whatever the fuck he's doing. He's getting this money. And it's like you can literally change the landscape of America just doing that, just the small percentage of people. But far be it from me. Like, I don't know. I'm not a billionaire. Maybe if I became a billionaire, I wouldn't want to give up any money either. But who knows?
I mean,
I think it takes somebody being that baseline to understand like they have money but don't really give a fuck about it. Because then again, somebody who's been dirt poor all their life,
yeah.
when they finally make it, are they sympathetic to the cause? Maybe. I've been poor. I'm not giving up nothing. Then you got people who's like, I've been rich and I'm not giving up nothing. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm also one of those guys. It's like I've never gotten help in life, right? Like everything I've done was me. It's like, yeah,
Right.
maybe I had friends to do things with, but that's about it. So I don't know. I feel like I think I would be kind of on the selfish side of it. It's just like it's my money, make your own money, or if you need
Right.
some, I'll pay you to do something for me. I don't know. I feel like that's where I would get.
Yeah. I've always said that too because I've always hear people say that money is not the root of all evil. They'll say, "Well, money is not the root of all evil," and I'm just like, tell that to somebody who hasn't had money. Like, or they say, "Well, money is not everything." You don't want love? You want money? No, I want money. Money buys me everything. Money can even, to a certain extent, money buys you love anyway. Like people don't just love you for free. There has to be some quality or something about you that is backed by a little bit of finance for someone to stay with you. Like, I mean, you just can't be out here not having a job and expecting your wife to stay with you. At some point in time, she's going to get tired of being the one to do everything, and it's going to be a problem. Not saying that everybody's like that, but I've experienced quite a fair share of things that where my finances weren't where they should be, and people didn't stick around as long as I felt they should. So
Yes. Yep. And you know what? I've actually had it kind of reminds me a little bit. I've had girlfriends where, like say they're going to school and I'm like, I'll take care of you. I'm working full time. I can't afford to go to school.
Hmm.
I'll take care of you so you can finish school. And then when you're done with that and you get yourself a good job, then you can, and then we'll switch. You can take care of me. So while I go to school, and then we'll both have really good jobs and we'll be set for life. Well, I took care of her just fine. and
Yeah,
then
there you
and then she
go.
left.
After she got her shit together, she was like, "Well, you know what? Well, yeah, that's a whole nother topic. I don't. Let's not even go down that one. That's a whole nother one, Dustin.
Yep.
But shoot, yeah. But yeah, that's so interesting that you got a friend like that. Like, I wish I did have a friend who was sort of like a blank slate where I could bounce something off him. He doesn't have anything attached to him, nothing deeply ingrained in him, and I just like, hey, what do you think about this? And then watch the gears work in his brain. I wish it was like that. I'm surprised he's even holding out the way he is to have that many kids. That's a strong person.
Yeah. Yeah. I say that.
It was rough. I had two and help, so like you know what I mean. It's like
Oh,
I had
damn it.
two and help. Did your TikTok come in? It's working out.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a be right back screen for my TikTok and it's not working.
Oh Lord, hold on, let me get in here.
Okay. Yeah, no, let's not link that anymore. Okay. Add a source. Image. Load faster, please. Add existing.
I got a question, but I guess you want to wait till after break.
Yeah, I kind
Now
of
that
want.
now,
I want to wait
now,
until after break.
now that we done delved down the racist path, I got a question.
Okay.
Um, Here, let's do it. Let's do it real quick before we take a break. At what point? At what point does it become self? It goes from being self love to being racist.
Self love into being racist. Is that what you said?
Yeah. At what point does it become from being self love to being racist? Like perfect example for somebody like me. I wholly 100% embrace my culture. Like for you, Dustin, do you have any Irish in you?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. I was going to use that as an example.
Well,
Let's
okay.
just say
If I do, it's very slim. You know.
very slim. Like okay, like I like. We'll use Angry Pug for resistant, for example.
I love
He's
Angry
he's
Pug.
got Irish in him, so he embraces his Irish. Roots. He has a Irish
I'm like that
shamrock
with.
tattoo on his arm,
I'm
stuff
like
like
that with
that.
being Italian.
Oh, that's right. You are Italian. I forgot. Speaking of that, if you scroll down Dustin's TikTok,
I figured it
if
out.
you go a little bit further down, I'm pretty sure it's got some meatballs that he made there, or maybe it's on his Facebook. But Dustin he does embrace his Italian roots. So all right, perfect example. So at what point in time does embracing who you are, lineage, culture wise, when does that drive into the line of being racist, or does it? Because I think that's where people
There's
have
a
a problem.
difference. There is a difference between loving your race and disliking other races.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to say, I mean, with the Italian heritage thing, I can safely say it's like, oh yeah, I know the qualities of being an Italian. We're natural born leaders, but we're also incredibly lazy. So we get other people to do the shit for us.
I think
Well,
that's just the American dream.
exactly. And that I also know that we hold on to a grudge, like no tomorrow. But at the same time, at least just me, as long as somebody actually shows like, oh, I actually feel bad about what I did, and I'm really sorry. It's like, all right, fine, you're forgiven. But until that point happens, I don't care if 15 years have gone by, I'm still mad at you.
That's
But
interesting.
I know I'm not answering your question really well, but
No, you are. You
because
are. You are because
I've never been racist, so I don't like at least to my knowledge I've never been racist. And so I don't know what it's like to dislike other people because of where they came from or what they look like.
right. But I've always struggled with that because I don't think I don't think I've ever came off as racist. I don't know. Maybe I have to some people. Racism is all perception anyway. So um, somebody can look at me and be like, "Hey, look at that guy's skull hat. He's racist." Like you never know. But I've always had a kind of wondered because with my daughters being mixed, they're half black and half Mexican. I've always pushed on them their culture, which I've already assumed that they were going to gravitate more towards the black culture because it's so prominent, like within music and so many other different things. But I've always tried to push on them, like, hey, don't forget, you are Mexican too. Like, so kind of embrace that part of it too. I don't want you to just grow up and be like, know everything about your dad and nothing about your mom because it just didn't resonate with you as strong as the black culture. So I've always kind of wondered where was that thin line where it becomes looked at as racism on the outside that I'm black and I'm proud. I like being black. I love black things. You know what I mean? Like where does it you
And
know
black people have a lot of things I like too.
yeah, yeah. And white people have a lot of things I like too as well. So at what point in time, just see what I'm saying? So where is that line at? Is there a line? Is it, or maybe it's just an imaginary line that people who aren't happy in life drew, and they just want to blame other people? Like you're the reason why I'm poor because all the Chinese people are taking my jobs. Like like is that where it is?
I can't. I don't know how to answer that, man.
I don't know. That's why I like talking with you, Justin, because it's not even really an answer. It's just more like a brainstorm. Like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just want to know, like, what's going on there? Maybe
All right.
science can answer it. Let's apply the scientific method to that.
I am going to take a brief break, by the way, because I think that's why I'm being so quiet. Like my mind is turning into mush at the moment. I just need a few
Okay,
minutes to
okay,
breathe.
let's do it.
But I did just make a be right back thing for my TikTok, so I can be right back everywhere now. So, um, yeah, 5 minutes. You think?
5 minutes, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab me some water
And Dom, I am
uh,
not ignoring you, my man. I'm just I really need a quick break before I. Yeah, I will be back.
all right.
And yes, go get your water, whatever. All
Yes, sir. All
right.
right, be back, guys.
Yep. Okay, we are back. I am back. Oh, he's there. He's working on it. Can you hear me?
Of course.
There he is. Welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. That's a good show. You ever see that? What show is that? Lemony Snicket's what is that? Series of unfortunate events. That's what it is. Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events.
Oh, was it called that? Lemony Snickets. Is that how you said it?
Yeah, Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events.
Hold on.
That's a really good
To me,
show.
that doesn't sound right. Hold on. Of unfortunate events. Lemony Snickets. You're absolutely right. Okay, for some reason, that didn't sound right to me.
No, it's an off really off. Jim Carrey did one, and then the Netflix has one on there. It was a TV series they have on there with what is his name? Can't remember that actor, but the TV series is actually better than the movie. So,
Okay. So, how was your break?
yes, it was good. I went to go get some water, and then I shot a text message to my buddy Eddie to let him know that I'll be by there to pick up some libations in a little bit. Probably about 8:15 or so. So
All right.
I don't know what time. I don't know what time he's closing tonight, but I told him I said I'm going to be doing a little podcasting. So just make sure you're there when I get ready to get there. So so I can get back because I got to get back before do some gaming tonight.
Yeah,
But
I want to do some. I want to do some game. I've been wanting to do live stream gaming again. I haven't done that in a while.
what games were you looking at?
Oh my god, I have so freaking many games. It's not even funny. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Give me a second. Oh god. Okay. Steam. Yeah, because I've been wanting to play games with you, so but I'm just like, what kind of games? Because I have a lot. It's logging in. Hang on.
I know Schedule One is on sale right now, which is surprising. It just came out. It's already on discount.
Yeah, but remember I said that's the kind of thing you don't want to stream on Twitch?
Right.
There's one. Okay. There's there's a bunch of games. So one I tried out. It's called Storm Chasers. I bought that one.
hmm
It looks like it would be a lot better with friends because I tried that on my own, and it was okay. I'm like, it was scary to be. You could see other people play it, but it wasn't scary until you were the one playing it. So I'm like, okay, maybe this would be worth it.
Okay.
Um, you got that Repo game, which is still freaking amazing. I want you to play that sometime. Hold on, looking. I have a bunch of stuff here. Oh, give me a sec. Storage Hunter, the schedule one. Did I not buy them yet? Are they just all on my wish list? I have a lot on my wish list.
Let's see. I got.
Oh, here's a normal ones called Golf with Your Friends.
Oh. Okay.
That one's fun to watch. I watched Wade, Markiplier's friend, play that for a long
Right.
time. He just recently stopped playing it altogether. He's just like, this is our last one. We're done playing this. I'm like, why?
Wow.
Why?
I've been finding myself wanting to do a lot more simulation games like Supermarket Simulator and not really Gas Station Simulator. I've seen people play that. It looks like I've burned out on it, but
It's
the
it's fun, but you're right. There's a major burnout on that.
yeah, Supermarket Simulator actually look kind of fun. I watch Andy Milanakopoulos. I can never say his name right. Milanakis or something. I watched him play it, and it looked really fun. So
You ever seen that game Grounded?
Yeah, I have that game.
You have it. Okay, I don't.
Yes, I do. That game is. I had it. I got it on the Xbox Gamer Pass thing.
Okay.
That's a fun game. If you haven't played, that's a fun game.
I want to play it because it's one of those crafting, survival games. Except
Yeah,
you're tiny and there's ants and spiders, and it's like how
spider.
come that's cool.
I can never figure out how to keep the spiders out of my base. Maybe that's something you can you can figure out when you play.
There's one I want to play with you at some point. It's called Sunken Land.
Hmm. Let me look that up.
Sunken Land, all one word. Think of it like Raft, except for there's underwater cities, almost like everything went underwater, and you got to go down there to grab stuff. And
Ah, I see it. Hey, did you hear about the? Don't they have another Subnautica coming out?
yes, Subnautica 2 is on its
Subnautica 2?
way. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's 2 player, and I'm like, I need people to play this with me.
I was somebody was talking about it, and I was like, wow, okay, yes.
There's also where'd it go? I just had it. I lost it. Give me a second. There's Sunken Land. Okay. Oh, is this it? Is this multiplayer? No, it is not. Okay. Well, now I'm feeling stupid because I had I had a lot of like ones. I'm like, yeah, I can't. I'm looking for people to play games with, and it's like, well, where'd they go? All right, guys, looking for multiplayer games. If anyone has any ideas, let me know.
Let them know. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of simulators. I've been doing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and I
Life
didn't think it
Simulator.
was Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Okay.
I didn't think it was going to be fun, but it actually is pretty fun being a pilot, and it's real time. So uh, if you plan on flying somewhere, plan on sitting in your seat that long. Okay, the game.
Okay.
Like yeah, like I did a flight from Atlanta to Seattle. I put it in, and it's literally real time 4 hour flight. Like I know that in real life, but I was like, oh, it's a video game. It wouldn't do that. Oh no, no, they take it very seriously. The weather, if it's raining there, it's raining in the game. If the
Oh, I
wind
love that.
is, oh yeah, like I'm working on my landing right now. It's so hard to land because the crosswinds are killing me. So I'm like bouncing off the airport. No, it's actually a fun game. I didn't think it was going to be as fun as it is. So
Real quick, Dom goes. Harris is interesting because he is a famous atheist, but he says there's truths and experiences in Buddhist. I can't pronounce that. Dzogchen and Hindu, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't read that. Dzogchen and Hindu Avikita Vendetta that are very important. I'm sorry, I cannot read that. I'm so sorry, Dom. I'm American. I can't read things that are not.
is he saying that there's truth in it because of the religion, or is it just truth because I mean there's truth in all religion. It's
Yeah,
just
I would like you. Yeah, expound on that, Dom. Tell us what you exactly mean by that.
because there's like truth in all religion. It's just the extra bullshit that comes behind it. Like I mean, it's we don't have a problem with the truths in religion. It's the RPG fantasy stories that just they throw in there, like the quest for the Holy Grail and all that other shit. Like you know what I mean? Like
I know. Um, Real quick, because you asked me, and I want your opinion now, because you said, "What is my opinion of racism?" And it was a loaded question.
right.
Yeah, go for it, bud.
Damn, Justin, that's not fair. That's not how we do this. So, what is my opinion of racism? Um, I honestly don't believe it exists. Well, I'm wrong. That's not. I believe it exists, but not in the form that we most people are looking at it. I believe it exists as a what's the word I'm looking for? A coping mechanism. I feel like it's literally a coping mechanism to belong to a tribe. That's all I feel it is. That's really what it is.
Okay.
Because if it really truly was racism, why are people racist within their groups? If you know what I mean? Like same reason why it was profound for me. The most profound thing for me, one of the most profound things for me that I discovered throughout my life is when I realized that neo Nazis do know. I can I say that? I'm sorry. The
Probably
the,
not.
the yeah the H guy people that party. When I realized that they didn't like other white people, I was just like, oh, wait a minute. I thought you just didn't like other races altogether because you guys were the superior race. Oh no, you don't like other white people. Oh, okay. Same thing with some of the races that I've encountered here in Georgia. And I was just like, oh, you don't like that white person because he's poor. He's from the trailer park. They're like, well, that's a different. They're rednecks. We're not. And I'm like, no, no, yeah, no, no. You both are white. You both are white. You're the same color. So how did you manage to group him in the same party as me? Like we don't look alike at all. Like, but he's over here with us because he's technically, a redneck. And that's when I realized, okay, racism is just bullshit. It's just a coping mechanism, like kind of like a country club, a golfing country club. We all golf, we all wear Tiger Woods hats, and we all make $100 million a year. So we're over here, and you're not because you don't make 100,000, 100 million a year. That's all it is. It's just a coping mechanism to make a tribe.
I mean,
Same reason why they all
I can see that though. Like these are my
yes.
people. It doesn't have to be about race. It could be religion. It could
No.
be.
The same reason why they all dressed up. They had I mean, they look at it, they had costumes. They all came like it's literally a group, like just a tribe. Like, hey, look, somebody thought up one day, hey, look, why don't we all come up with the same costume? That's a great idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it is what it is.
So real quick, I know it's off topic, but Dom expounded a bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. So right after I said, "Man, I can't pronounce those," and then you're gonna have to expound a bit. He goes, "You're good." He goes, "Yeah, he's into Dzogchen." That's what it looks like it says. Where you experience non-duality trickery to communicate what that's about. But basically, we
Mhm.
normally feel like a subject perceiving a bunch of objects. And in Dogshen, you spelled it different. You okay. And in Dogshen, you notice that the subject is just another object and the sense that there is a self goes away. And you have an experience with being one with everything. Consciousness loses its sense of having a center. Space is perceived differently. The state is thoughtless and perfectly peaceful. So Harris got into that and teaches that in his meditation. Okay, so it's all about less being on the first person point of view and just and feeling like everything is connected to you and you're connected to everything. I think that's what it sounds like you're saying.
Hmm.
Interesting point of view. I wouldn't buy into it, but it's an interesting point of view.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Let me notice there's something there's a self goes away. So basically, I guess. Because I could see that, but that's still if it was just that, then that would just be spiritual. That would just make you spiritual.
Yeah.
But it's the other things behind it that makes it dog shit. Why can't it just be? Why can't it just be? I go out with the trees. I go outside and the wind's blowing and I can feel it on my face and I can smell the air and I'm just one with the world, and let it be that.
That's one thing that annoys me about our problem solving instincts is that we want there to be so much more than there currently is. It's like, we're sitting in our offices right now, or we could be standing out in our driveway, there's rocks on the ground, all that stuff, and people are like, there's got to be more to this. We're all connected. There's energies in the rocks, and it's like we're all connected in the sense that when we die, our body, becomes worm food, and then the worms create healthier dirt, which makes plants grow on that, and then the deer or rabbits or whatever will eat that grass, and someone will get that deer or rabbit and eat that, and it's just like, in that sense, we're connected.
Right.
But that's as far as I'm gonna go with it.
Well, no, you left it out. You got to go all the way to the top if you're gonna go there, Dustin. You got to say God created the deer and the grass, and it was God's will for you to kill that rabbit and eat it. Eat that poor defensive bunny rabbit that was just trying to live its life and reproduce. It was God's will for you to go out there and inhumanely cut off his legs and make keychains out of it. This is why I can't take it seriously.
I know.
This is why I can't take it seriously. I can't. I'm trying. I try to keep an open mind with this shit, but I can't.
And you know what? Speaking of that, the same guy I keep talking about, like the guy I work with, he would have had 8 kids, but one kid was, let's just say the words, taken from him just a few months after he was born. And he is telling me, he goes, people are saying, he goes, yo, people are telling me, oh, he's in a better place. Oh, God had a different plan for him. He's in heaven now. I'm like, yo, he couldn't live long enough to get to know his parents. It's like, what? So what was the whole point of him being born in the first place? He goes, that's right. Why. He goes, that's why I don't buy that bull.
That's so odd. Okay. This is the problem I have with that. See how you just explained that to me? Mm-hmm. When people say stuff like that, and you give an all-powerful being human qualities, human and thought intellect, that's where it goes out the window for me. So this just to repeat what you said, somebody told him that God had a different plan for him. So what did he send him down here and change his mind? Like, oh, I made a mistake. Abort. Like, no, seriously. Like, did he? So,
he might as well
like,
have.
All right. God's like, all right. Here's my blessing from your balls. Here's your baby. And then somebody runs in and is like, hey, did you see that memo I sent you? He's like, oh shit, I made a mistake. Abort, send them back. Like, come on now. Like that I don't understand. I don't understand people.
Yeah, no, that's what he tells me all the time though. He goes, that right there is the biggest thing for me. He goes, it makes no sense. He goes, he says he believes there is some sort of higher power. He doesn't believe that this higher power would have as much impact on us like a lot of people says that they do. He goes, but the fact that some people do believe that, he goes, I find personally offended by it because my son was taken from me just a few months after he was born, and people are saying, well, that was God's plan. Really? That was God's plan to cause me this much heartbreak where it's been several years since he's passed, and I still think about him all the time. He's still my screensaver on my phone. He's still this. And he goes, that was God's plan right there?
Want to know my rebuttal?
Yes, love it. Go ahead.
God works in mysterious ways.
Oh my God.
It's not funny. I'm sorry. I'm not making light of his situation, but I had to throw that in there. Well, his ways are, his plan is way more than our mind could fathom. So he just works in mysterious ways. So don't worry about it. He's got you. And that was his plan all along to cause you so many years of heartache. And
Right.
don't worry, he's gonna make up for it somewhere down the line. Like I don't know.
All right, so let's see what Dom had to say. He changes it a little bit. He said a
Okay.
couple things. Peaceful meditation. Hard to wrap your head around. It's wild though, because I think Harris is a very staunch atheist, but he believes all that stuff. Claims to experience it all the time. So him being an atheist thinks that Harris being an atheist thinks that after meditation, he actually feels like he's fully connected with the world and the universe and all that stuff in a spiritual manner. I see what Dom's saying now.
Right.
It,
Yeah, because it's like you claiming atheism, but then you have the spiritual aspect of it. Well, I mean, I think the way the world is now, you can live like that. That could be a thing. I think, and correct me wrong, Dustin, because you're actually an atheist. There, I'm just more or less, I'll say agnostic, like where it's like, okay, I think there's something there, but I just don't believe it's fat. Just trim it off, give me the steak, none of the fat. So, I think more or less atheism is just more about disproving the bullshit in religion, opposed to just negating religion altogether. Is that more of it, or
no, I negate anything that doesn't have any proof. Okay?
okay?
So there needs to be proof for me to believe something. Okay? If there isn't any proof, then I could tell you have a dog in your house right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, man, I don't see a dog. I looked. There's no droppings anywhere. It's been days since you said that, and you're still saying there's a dog in my house. There's no dog in my house. There's no proof that there's a dog in my house. I don't believe there's a dog in my house. And I'm just
Right.
I'm telling you, I believe there's a dog in your house. It's like no. You would want the proof. That's me with everything.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Actually, I would like to clip that. Where there's an option here to clip that right there. I'm gonna clip that. Boom. Copied to clipboard. Ha.
I love that board. That board you got there. That's pretty cool.
Well, if it's in the Steam Twitch stream manager. When you're in that, there's quick actions, and one button is clip.
Really?
Clip that. Yeah, bring it up, bro.
What?
You didn't know that was a thing?
What? No, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a way to edit it. You can clip that. You can stream together. I have that on a button. There's a 60-second ad, and there's a 30-minute ad, which I meant to clip meant to hit when we went on break.
Right.
Manage polls, predictions. What is this one? Sub only.
I've seen those. I might need to add the other ones. Wow. I need to start playing.
Oh yeah, hit that plus button. There is a lot of stuff you can add. It's beautiful.
I'm definitely gonna be doing that.
Yeah, if we have a conversation that's like less than a minute, and I'm like, that was really good. Clip that. Boom.
Huh. That's all right. I'm gonna add some stuff in there.
I like it when I know something that you don't, because it's usually the opposite.
Bullshit.
Because for some reason you figure all this stuff out way before me, and I'm just like, man, how's he do that? You're like, oh, I figured out the stream together. I figured out the call-in thing. I figured out this.
You
and
know
I'm
what
like,
you know what that is? That's me sitting at work doing nothing. Like when I'm at work, a lot of times I'm literally like brainstorming on what could I do to like not have to work anymore.
man,
And
I need
the most prevalent thing that I can think of is like I like to play video games. I like to stream. I already have everything to stream. I just got to figure out that niche that's just going to make 20,000 viewers hang up in here. I like the people that are here. Don't get me wrong. We're family. Our little group, I love it. But it'd be nice to have 20,000 people here. But then again, I kind of don't want 20,000 people because I'm not going to. I want to be able to interact with all of my community one by one, and I know that I won't be able to do that to a certain point. There's going to be favorites. You know what I mean? There's always going to be those favorites like Shiggles, you, Kevin, Jedi. You guys are going to come in, and I'll probably talk to you guys more than the rest of the community. So that's where it's going to be challenging for me to treat everybody equally.
You can speak for yourself. I'll take that 20,000 viewers right now.
Oh shit.
All right. So Dom said, hold on. Oh my God, he was talking a lot. Okay, hold on. So he said not quite, because based on what I told you, he goes, I muddied the water a little bit with that one of everything because the experience itself gets interpreted differently. But those markers I gave were my description. No subject, no center, no sense of self, peace, thoughtless. Okay. When I said one of everything, I meant in the sense that there's no separation between you and the objects you're experiencing. Yeah, that's what I said. People also say that in the sense of there being one mind we all come from, which seemed to be where you were headed. The Hindus use that framing, but the Buddhists don't, relating to the same experience. Okay. So I have to tell you about this, by the way. I know it's off topic. I've been playing a lot with ChatGPT because I love it.
Okay.
And I screenshotted this because I thought it was. I sent it to my girlfriend, and I'm just like, man, I love ChatGPT. So I was at work, and my girlfriend's busy this weekend. She has to dog sit, she has to babysit, she has a lot going on. So I went to ChatGPT, and I'm like, well, looks like I'm free all weekend. My girlfriend's busy. I'll be wanting to make content. It goes, nice, and it had the sunglasses emoji. It goes, content grind mode activated. Let's make the most of your free weekend. Here's a quick game plan to help you out with Why Do You Think and Why Do You Games. Even something new if you're feeling spicy. And it gives me a bunch of ideas, and it started with main episode. You want to finish up your anti-aging debunking, or do you want to change it up? Like things AI doesn't know unless you tell it. Because we had a conversation about that the other day, and that was the one I sent you the other day, by the way. I know you've been really busy, so I don't know if you even read it. It was really long.
Really? GPT is really getting down like that? So it even offered you assistance on your channel?
Oh yeah, it's been giving me what do you call it? It's been giving me thumbnail ideas. So I made on Wednesday. I made a video. I didn't go live with it, but I did make a video, talking about anti-aging. Okay, because I wanted to talk about, I love science, but I'm waiting for them to come up with something that will actually make us anti-age, not these creams bullshit. And
right.
And ChatGPT was just like, that could be an episode. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. It could be an episode. So I made an episode on it, right? And I go, ChatGPT, can you do me a favor and make me a thumbnail for this episode? And it goes, okay, what do you want with it? And it's like, because it already knows what I look like for the most part.
Okay.
And they said, do you want it cartoony? Do you want it funny? And I'm just like, cartoony mixed with the anti-aging creams mixed with, like dollar signs. And it came up with this. The anti-aging, let me shrink it up a little bit. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, wow, Dustin.
Anti-aging cream. See the old lady in the left.
And the young lady.
Yep, dollar signs. The anti-aging lie. It did all that. It even did the lettering, the wording.
That is wow. Wow. I'm astonished. Like and
it made my
this makes you wonder, do you really need to go to an artist to get anything? I'm pretty sure that they can draw our emotes.
I just told it today to make me a quick thumbnail for today's episode. And I'm like, it doesn't need anything special. Just, I don't want a freeze frame of me talking because sometimes it makes you look stupid.
Yeah.
And it came up with this. Simple. Quick to the point. Why do you think on the bottom?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. This is dangerously fun.
You have no idea. I talked to it more than my girlfriend lately.
Dangerously fun. That's crazy that it can do all of that. That's wow. I heard it did good things, but I've never, ever, ever really messed with it. So this is like, what? Are you serious?
When we're done here,
you know what I mean?
When we're done here, go back to that thing I sent you about ChatGPT because you'll.
Yeah, I'll say at it.
I want your opinion on it. I wanted you to read it, but like you said, you were busy. I'm not holding it against you. So.
Oh no! This next week will not be. It's funny. I was so busy this past week. Now I'm not busy at all. Like it's almost like they worked the shit out of me for nothing. But yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do. So I'm definitely gonna check it out.
All right. Well, what do you think we sort of call it here? It's been 2.5 hours, and I feel like
2.5 hours.
I feel like we're losing creativity in the brain right now.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like I need some more stuff to think about now. So.
Yep. All right. I think we'll call it here then.
Yes, that works, man. Dustin, as always, good man. I look. I'm gonna ask my brother, the really smart one, if he wants to join us next Saturday, and that'll be very interesting because here's the difference between me and him. As smart as he is, he's fully immersed in the religion.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
So this is going to be, that should be a really good conversation between you two because he's open-minded. Don't worry. He's not one of those, you got me, so now I'm mad at you and you're the devil. No, he's just like, hey, you got me, but I still believe what I believe. So.
Oh, really quick. Sorry. One more thing. So
yeah,
ChatGPT, I've been sending it lots of pictures of me because I was trying to get it to map out my facial features and everything to, make it look like me as much as possible, right?
Right.
It can't quite get me right. Okay? It looks a lot like me. When I look closer, I'm like, yep, those look like my eyes. Yep, that looks like my lips. Those look like my eyebrows, etc. But it's not me. Look at what it came up with. Do you see it?
That's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. Actually, this one's more cartoony.
That's actually pretty good.
Did I delete the one that it tried sending me the first time? I may have because I was
Excuse me.
I was annoyed. I can't. I may have gotten rid of it. Oh nope, found it. Found it. Because that was cartoony. That one's not bad. This one is.
Okay.
See the
eyebrows? That looks nothing like you.
No, look at. Okay, you can. Let me do this. You can see the eyebrows. The lines right here. The way my eyebrows go looks like my eyes. My lips. Not bad. The nose is actually pretty close. Even got the lines in the forehead when I'm looking normal. I'm like, and my ears. Hold on, wrong ears.
Yeah, it did a good job. Surprisingly, it looks like you, and it doesn't look like you, though.
That's my point. I'm like, it looks so much like me, but it's not me. And I sent it so many pictures, and I'm just like, hey, you got this wrong. And it goes, oh, I did get because the eyebrows, they did it wrong. So I'm like, you did the eyebrows wrong. And they were like, oh, I can see that now. Let me try again.
You know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to play around with that thing tonight. Screw it. I'm going to go to the store, get my stuff, come back, and play around with that thing tonight. I got to because I'm looking at all the stuff you're doing. I'm just like, it's amazing that you can do that. I'm going to be playing around with that today.
Sounds good, and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll do a YouTube video. I won't do it on Twitch. I'll do a YouTube video of me doing it. My first time using Chat GPT. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I want to see this.
I did spend. I did subscribe to it because if it's free, um, you get a limited time, right? Like you chat with
Okay.
it for a bit, and then all of a sudden a pop up will come up and say, "Hey, you can still talk to it, but it will not respond to you the way you're used to until
Okay.
like 11:45 tomorrow or something like that." So,
Oh, okay.
but I'm spending $20 a month, and you could talk to it nonstop. So I spent it, and I'm doing that, and it's worth it.
All right. Well, shoot, I'm gonna do that. I think it's worth it.
Just make sure you create your login first, because anything you talk to it about, like if you talk to it before you create a login, it won't remember anything of what you talked about beforehand.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it'll save your transcripts and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, even better. But
Okay.
man, Dustin,
This was
thank
fun.
you for hanging out with me, man. It was fun. I look forward to next week. Dude, we just be bouncing around, but I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we talked about religion, racism, mostly that, by the way.
Monkeys,
Monkeys.
evolution,
why monkeys are
evolution.
why monkeys is an insult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is good, man. This is a good conversation. I think people need to have more of them. Just good conversation about stuff, man.
All right. Well, I will see you next time.
Yes, sir. Um, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna check that Chat GPT real quick before I leave. The one you sent me, and then when I get back, we'll talk about it.
It sounds good.
All right.
All right. See you
All right.
guys.
Later.